Coming live from the Tivoli Met Radio studio here on Auraria campus, this is All Sports with Gerardo. Thank you for listening to All Sports through Met Radio on mymetmedia.com, live every Thursday from 3:30 to 5 p.m. This is your host Gerardo, and all I talk is sports. On the show today, I am going to talk about NFL football, Major League Baseball, NBA basketball, NHL hockey, college football, college basketball, and tennis. Before I start the show, I hope you all had a great week. To start off, starting next week and going forward, All Sports with Gerardo will now be on Tuesdays from 3:30 to 5 p.m. every Tuesday. Moving on now, at the middle every month, I post a video or talk about one stadium I went to. So stay tuned for future videos from stadiums across the U.S. For the month of February, I posted a video and an article from Yankee Stadium talking about seeing and going to all 30 Major League Baseball stadiums. I can now officially say I have went to all 30 Major League Baseball stadiums. You can go watch that video on YouTube. You can also view videos from the past and subscribe to my YouTube page at All Sports with Gerardo. Moving on now to Major League Baseball. In a 3-team trade, the Dodgers acquired Mookie Betts and David Price. The Red Sox acquired Alex Verdugo and Bashar Gradero, and the Twins acquired Kenta Maeda. The Angels traded Luis Renfroe to the Dodgers for Jock Peterson and Ross Stripling. Max Muncy and the Dodgers have agreed to a 3-year contract extension. After playing 16 seasons, Curtis Granderson announced he is retiring from Major League Baseball. Right now I'm going to take a commercial break. When I come back, I will talk about the NFL. Welcome back to All Sports with Gerardo. Moving on now to NFL football. The modern era class of 2020 that is getting inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame includes Steve Atwater, Isaac Bruce, Steve Hutchinson, Erson James, and Troy Polamalu. The class of 2020 that's getting inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame will include 20 individuals, 15 from the Centennial inductees, and 5 from the modern era inductees. Steve Atwater is the second Broncos defender to be elected into the Hall of Fame. Champ Bailey became the first Broncos defensive player to be elected into the Hall of Fame in 2019 when he was a first ballot Hall of Famer. John Elway, Gary Zimmerman, Shannon Sharp, Floyd Little, Terrell Davis, and Pat Bowlen also represent the Broncos in the Hall of Fame. 4 of the 8 Hall of Famers have been elected since 2017. So if we take a look at the NFL Hall of Fame, this year they changed the inductee process, and they also changed the process of how many individual players or personnel can get inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. Also, in 2020, they changed how many individuals could get inducted into the Hall of Fame. So they had the Centennial inductees, and they also had the modern era inductees. So this year, for the class of 2020 that's getting inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame, we're going to see 20 individuals in Canton this summer. So congrats to all NFL Hall of Famers that are getting inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame this year, and congrats to the class of 2020. So now that we're in 2020 and going forward, the NFL wants to see more individuals get inducted and have a chance at getting into the Hall of Fame. So this is only the beginning in 2020 by adding more individuals into the NFL Hall of Fame, and going into the future, we'll have to see if the NFL increases the amount of individuals that will be eligible to get inducted into the Hall of Fame. The NFL definitely wants to see more individuals in Canton going into the future. Also, congrats to Steve Atwater on finally making it in to the NFL Hall of Fame. He had to wait a long time, but it was definitely worth the wait. After being a finalist for the last few years, Steve Atwater finally made it into the Hall of Fame. Congrats to Steve Atwater on finally making it into the Hall of Fame. With the type of career that Steve Atwater had for the Broncos and winning Super Bowl 32 and 33, there was no reason why Steve Atwater wouldn't be a Hall of Famer. Even though he had to wait for a very long time, he finally got in. And there's no reason why he shouldn't be a Hall of Famer with the type of player that he was for the Broncos on defense and in the NFL throughout his career. Also, I want to say congrats to Troy Polamalu on making it into the NFL Hall of Fame as a first ballot Hall of Famer. There was no reason as to why Troy Polamalu wasn't going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer and get into the Hall of Fame with the type of career that he had for the Steelers and in the NFL. He was one of the best defensive players for the Steelers and in the NFL. So congrats to Troy Polamalu on making it into the NFL Hall of Fame and being a first ballot Hall of Famer. For the last few years, John Lynch has been a finalist on getting inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. This year, John Lynch fell short of getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. With the class of 2020 for the modern era inductees, including Steve Atwater and Troy Polamalu as being safeties, you usually don't see two players from the same position get into the Hall of Fame the same year. And they weren't going to have three safeties get into the Hall of Fame since there was already two. Steve Atwater's been waiting a long time, and there was no doubt that Troy Polamalu was going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. So John Lynch fell short, but for the class of 2021, John Lynch has a great chance at making it in to the NFL Hall of Fame. So we're going to have to wait and see if John Lynch makes it into the Hall of Fame next year or in the next few years. But for the last few years, he has been a finalist on getting inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. Also, another player that's eligible to get into the NFL Hall of Fame in 2021, and there's no doubt that he will be a first ballot Hall of Famer, is Peyton Manning. 2021 will be the first year Peyton Manning is eligible to get into the Hall of Fame, and there's no doubt that Peyton Manning will be a first ballot Hall of Famer with the type of career that Peyton Manning had in the NFL with the Colts and for the Broncos. And Peyton Manning was one of the best quarterbacks to ever play in the NFL. So Peyton Manning will be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he will be a part of the class of 2021. The Broncos will also have another individual player that will represent the Broncos in the NFL Hall of Fame. Also, Randy Gradishar, he fell short of making it in to the NFL Hall of Fame and being a part of the class of 2020 with the Centennial inductees. We're going to have to wait and see if Randy Gradishar can get into the NFL Hall of Fame next year or going into the future. He definitely has a great chance at making it into the NFL Hall of Fame. We're going to have to wait and see what year it is or if he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. But I could definitely see Randy Gradishar making it in to the NFL Hall of Fame going into the future. In 2021, there is a possibility that we will see 3 more players that played for the Broncos in the past get inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame and be a part of the class of 2021 that will get inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame. We're going to have to wait and see if it's John Lynch, Peyton Manning, Randy Gradishar, one of them, all of them. We're going to have to wait and see if any of them get inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame and they're a part of the class of 2021. But there's no doubt that Peyton Manning will be a part of the class of 2021, and we'll see another player represent the Broncos in the Hall of Fame. But hopefully in 2021, it's not just Peyton Manning, and we see John Lynch, Peyton Manning, and Randy Gradishar represent the Broncos in the NFL Hall of Fame. The NFL Honors was on Saturday, February 1st. Here are the individuals that won an award. The NFL awards were given to Nick Bosa for Defensive Rookie of the Year, Kyler Murray for Offensive Rookie of the Year, John Harbaugh for Coach of the Year, Michael Thomas for Offensive Player of the Year, Stephen Gilmore for Defensive Player of the Year, Ryan Tannehill for Comeback Player of the Year, Calais Campbell for Walter Payton Man of the Year, and MVP was given to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is the NFL's anonymous choice for MVP since Tom Brady back in 2010. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry were named the 2019 FedEx Air and Ground Players of the Year. Christian McCaffrey was named the 2019 Fantasy Player of the Year. For the first time in NFL history, African American quarterbacks have won Offensive Rookie of the Year, MVP, and Super Bowl MVP in the same year. NFL teams without an MVP winner includes the Cardinals, Texans, Jaguars, Saints, Jets, and Buccaneers. After playing 14 seasons, Vernon Davis announced he is retiring from the NFL. After playing 13 seasons, Eric Weddle announced he is retiring from the NFL. Greg Olsen and the Panthers have mutually agreed to part ways. The Chargers announced they are moving on from Phillip Rivers this offseason. So in 2020, the Chargers roster is going to look different, especially if they're moving on from Phillip Rivers, since Phillip Rivers has been the Chargers quarterback over the course of the last few years. So in 2020, we can definitely see a different quarterback playing for the Chargers. And we're going to have to wait and see if the Chargers pursue a different quarterback through free agency, or if they draft a quarterback in this year's NFL draft. But it's very likely that the Chargers are moving on from Phillip Rivers, and they will draft a quarterback to start for the Chargers in 2020. So there's a very high chance that the Chargers will have a new starting quarterback in 2020. Running back Jalen Richard and the Raiders have agreed to a 2-year contract extension. General Manager Kevin Colbert and the Steelers have agreed to a 1-year contract. Travis Kelce and George Kittle are ranked in the top 2 in recorded yards by a tight end over a 2-season span in NFL history. Damian Williams, 11 touchdowns, ties Terrell Davis for the most touchdowns in a player's first 6 playoff games. Damian Williams' 6 touchdowns in the playoffs are the most by an undrafted free agent in the Super Bowl era. Damian Williams had 133 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the game-sealing run to win Super Bowl 54. Tony Dungy was the first African-American head coach to win a Super Bowl. The Chiefs beat the 49ers 31-20 in Super Bowl 54 on Sunday, February 2nd, down in Miami. The Chiefs had their Super Bowl parade on Wednesday, February 5th in Kansas City. The Chiefs, Ravens, 49ers, Saints, and the Patriots are favored to win next year's Super Bowl. Next year, Super Bowl 55 will be in Tampa on February 7, 2021. So right now I'm going to give you a recap of Super Bowl 54, and I'm also going to talk about the 49ers and the Chiefs in Super Bowl 54. So taking a look at Super Bowl 54, the Chiefs beat the 49ers 31-20 in Super Bowl 54 on Sunday, February 2nd, down in Miami. Super Bowl 54 was at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Demi Lovato performed the national anthem. Jennifer Lopez and Shakira performed the halftime show with guest performers J Balvin, Bad Bunny, and Jennifer Lopez's daughter, Emi Munoz. This was the 6th Super Bowl to be played at this stadium in Miami. This was the 11th time a Super Bowl has been played in South Florida. The Miami area ranks first among all Super Bowl host cities, with New Orleans coming in at second. Super Bowl 54 marked the conclusion of the NFL's 100th season. Before Super Bowl 54 began, the NFL honored the top 100 players and personnel from each position throughout the last 100 years of the NFL. Before Super Bowl 54 began, the NFL honored the class of 2020 that's getting inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame this year. Before Super Bowl 54 began, the NFL had a tribute to honor Kobe Bryant with a moment of silence. The NFL gave their condolences to Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and the 7 other victims that died in the helicopter crash in Calabasas, California on Sunday, January 26. The NFL's first ever Super Bowl also featured the Chiefs, who lost to the Packers in Super Bowl I. This was the first time the 49ers and the Chiefs had went against each other in the Super Bowl. The 49ers and the Chiefs had a first-round bye in the playoffs, which is the 7th season in a row that both Super Bowl contenders finished as a top 2 seed in their conference. This was the first time a Super Bowl featured 2 teams with red as their primary uniform color. Super Bowl 54 was the 10th most watched Super Bowl. Super Bowl 54 featured new faces, young superstars, and new storylines. So taking a look at the 49ers, this was the 49ers' 7th Super Bowl appearance. The 49ers lost to the Chiefs in Super Bowl 54. The 49ers led up 21 unanswered points in the 4th quarter of Super Bowl 54. The 49ers went to 5 Super Bowls between 1981 through 1994, and they won all 5 of them. The last time the 49ers appeared in the Super Bowl was Super Bowl 47, and they lost to the Ravens. Jimmy Garoppolo is a 2-time Super Bowl champion with the Patriots when he was Tom Brady's backup quarterback in Super Bowl 49 and 51. Jimmy Garoppolo was traded to the 49ers by the Patriots during the 2017 season. He missed all but 3 games in 2018 due to a torn ACL. 2019 was Jimmy Garoppolo's first full season as a starter for the 49ers. The 49ers offensive assistant, Katie Showers, was the first woman to coach in the Super Bowl. Mike and Kyle Shanahan were the first father-son duo to each appear in a Super Bowl as a head coach. The 49ers joined the 1988 Bengals and the 1999 Rams as the 3rd team to reach the Super Bowl after winning 4 or fewer games the previous season. Deebo Samuel broke the record for the most rushing yards by a wide receiver in a Super Bowl. In Super Bowl 54, Jimmy Garoppolo had 219 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Raheem Morse had 58 yards on 12 carries for 1 touchdown. Tevin Coleman had 28 yards on 5 carries. Deebo Samuel had 39 yards on 5 catches and 53 yards on 3 catches. Kendrick Bourne had 42 yards on 2 catches. Kyle Zungek had 39 yards on 3 catches. Emmanuel Sanders had 38 yards on 3 catches. George Kittle had 36 yards on 4 catches. Fred Warner had 1 interception. And Travis Moore had 1 interception. So taking a look at the 49ers roster, here are the players that you wanted to keep an eye on during Super Bowl 54. On offense, Jimmy Garoppolo, George Kittle, Raheem Mostert, Emmanuel Sanders, Deebo Samuel. On defense, Nick Bosa and Richard Sherman. So if we take a look at Super Bowl 54 for the 49ers, for most of the game, the 49ers were playing the way the 49ers play on offense and defense. And going into the first half of the fourth quarter, it looked like the 49ers were going to win Super Bowl 54 with the type of defense that they have and the way their offense was playing. But in that fourth quarter, things turned around and the 49ers defense was letting the Chiefs offense catch up and score points. But after the Chiefs were able to come back from being down and getting the game to a close game, but then taking the lead late in the fourth quarter, it wasn't enough for the 49ers to come back with there only being a few minutes left in Super Bowl 54. So the 49ers landed up losing Super Bowl 54, and they landed up losing a Super Bowl that they probably should have won. And the Chiefs landed up winning Super Bowl 54. But if we take a look at the 49ers on offense, they played great. It wasn't a big game for either the 49ers or the Chiefs on offense. But both the 49ers and the Chiefs were able to do enough for their team to score points and get a lead in the Super Bowl. But the Chiefs landed up playing better on offense late in the fourth quarter, and that's the reason why the Chiefs won Super Bowl 54. In Super Bowl 54, Jimmy Garoppolo was playing great at the quarterback position. And during Super Bowl 54, Jimmy Garoppolo just looked like he was the better quarterback for most of the Super Bowl. But in the fourth quarter, Patrick Mahomes showed up and he started playing better at the quarterback position, and he showed why he's the best quarterback in the NFL. So unfortunately, Jimmy Garoppolo and the offense couldn't do enough to win Super Bowl 54 late in the fourth quarter. Now, George Kittle didn't have as big of a game that he should have had as a tight end, and like he's been having throughout the playoffs, but especially in the regular season. Raheem Mostert had a decent game, but he didn't run the way he did in the NFC Championship game. Emmanuel Sanders didn't have that big of a game. The one player on offense that definitely had a big game for the 49ers was Deebo Samuel, with the type of numbers that he put up throughout Super Bowl 54. And if the 49ers would have won Super Bowl 54, Deebo Samuel would have been Super Bowl MVP and the MVP for the 49ers. So overall, the 49ers didn't play that bad on offense, but if they would have played a little bit better and had certain key players step up and have a bigger game than what they had, the 49ers would have had a better chance at winning Super Bowl 54. Now, taking a look at the 49ers defense. The 49ers defense showed up. And they showed why they were one of the best defenses in the NFL this season. And their front four definitely showed up. And they were able to pressure Patrick Mahomes in that Chiefs offense for most of the game. That front four for the 49ers defense was able to get to Patrick Mahomes a few times. And they definitely pressured Patrick Mahomes, and they got to Patrick Mahomes' head for most of Super Bowl 54. Now, Nick Bosa had a great game for the 49ers on defense. He played a solid game in Super Bowl 54. Richard Sherman, if he would have showed up and played a little bit better, Richard Sherman could have been another reason as to why the 49ers would have won Super Bowl 54. But Richard Sherman didn't play the way he usually plays in the playoffs and in the regular season, but especially in the playoffs and the way he had played in the playoffs for the Seahawks. Richard Sherman let some big plays go, and he also let that big touchdown to give the Chiefs that lead late in the fourth quarter. And if Richard Sherman could have made a few stops and stopped that touchdown, who knows? The 49ers could have won Super Bowl 54. But I think the 49ers could have won Super Bowl 54, but they kind of let the game go late in the fourth quarter. And Patrick Mahomes and that Chiefs offense was just too much for the 49ers defense to handle. So that's why the Chiefs won Super Bowl 54. But overall, the 49ers played great on defense, and they were able to get to Patrick Mahomes for most of the game. But it wasn't enough to beat the Chiefs and win Super Bowl 54. Even though the 49ers lost to the Chiefs in Super Bowl 54, the 49ers didn't play that bad against the Chiefs. Now, taking a look at the Chiefs, for the first time in 50 years, the Chiefs are the AFC champions and Super Bowl champions. The Chiefs beat the 49ers in Super Bowl 54. The Chiefs became the third team to win a Super Bowl after trailing by at least 10 points in the fourth quarter. Patrick Mahomes was named Super Bowl MVP. Patrick Mahomes joins Terry Bradshaw and Tom Brady as the only quarterbacks to win Super Bowl MVP after throwing multiple interceptions in the Super Bowl. This was the Chiefs' first Super Bowl appearance since the 1969 season. The last time the Chiefs appeared in the Super Bowl was in Super Bowl IV, when the Chiefs beat the Vikings in Super Bowl IV. Since the Chiefs won Super Bowl 54, they ended the second longest Super Bowl title drought among teams that have already won a Super Bowl. During the playoffs, the Chiefs never gave up. In the divisional round, they were down 24-0 against the Texans in the second quarter. In the championship game, they were down 17-7 against the Titans in the second quarter. And in Super Bowl 54, they were down 20-10 in the fourth quarter. And in all of their playoff games, they were down. And they came back to win all of their playoff games. And that's how the Chiefs won Super Bowl 54. If it wasn't for the Chiefs coming back in all of their playoff games, but especially in Super Bowl 54, there would have been no way that the Chiefs would have won Super Bowl 54. And if the Chiefs didn't come back against their opponents throughout the playoffs in the divisional round and in the championship round, the Chiefs would have never made it to Super Bowl 54. So congrats to the Chiefs on winning Super Bowl 54. With the way that the Chiefs turned their season around in the second half of the regular season, with the way the Chiefs played in the playoffs, and by reaching Super Bowl 54, and by winning Super Bowl 54, with the way the Chiefs played in the playoffs, but especially in Super Bowl 54, That's the reason why the Chiefs won Super Bowl 54 and the Chiefs are Super Bowl champions. Patrick Mahomes was 5-0 when trailing by 10 plus points this season, and he was 3-0 in the postseason. Patrick Mahomes is the first quarterback in NFL history to lead 3 double-digit comebacks in a single postseason. This was the best single-season record by a quarterback in NFL history. Chiefs head coach Andy Reid was the 24th head coach in NFL history to appear in more than one Super Bowl. Andy Reid led the Eagles to Super Bowl 39 back in 2004, and the Eagles lost to the Patriots in Super Bowl 39. Andy Reid's 222nd career win as a head coach was winning Super Bowl 54. Patrick Mahomes became the first quarterback from the AFC's new generation to appear in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes was the 5th youngest quarterback to start in a Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes joins Dan Marino and Kurt Warner as the only players who have won an MVP and reached the Super Bowl within their first 3 seasons. Patrick Mahomes is the youngest player in NFL history, and he is the first quarterback under 25 years old to win Super Bowl MVP and a Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes joins Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger as the only quarterbacks aged 24 or younger to win a Super Bowl. By age 24 and starting for the Chiefs for the last 2 seasons, Patrick Mahomes won NFL MVP back in 2018. He was the 2018 Offensive Player of the Year. He was the 2018 passing touchdown leader with 50 touchdowns that season. He is a Super Bowl champion. He won Super Bowl MVP, and he is a 2-time Pro Bowler. Patrick Mahomes' goal is to be in Kansas City for a long time. In Super Bowl 54, Patrick Mahomes had 286 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and 29 yards on 9 carries for 1 touchdown. Damian Williams had 104 yards on 17 carries for 1 touchdown and 29 yards on 4 catches for 1 touchdown. Tyreek Hill had 105 yards on 9 catches. Sammy Watkins had 98 yards on 5 catches. Travis Kelce had 43 yards on 6 catches for 1 touchdown. Brashad Breeland had 1 interception, and Kendall Fuller had 1 interception. So taking a look at the Chiefs roster, if we take a look at Chiefs head coach Andy Reid, Andy Reid is the head coach of the Chiefs, and he was also the head coach of the Eagles in the past. With the type of career that Andy Reid has had as a head coach in the NFL for the Eagles and now for the Chiefs, and with the type of record that he has, and with the type of stats that he has as a head coach in the NFL, there's no doubt that Andy Reid is one of the best head coaches to ever coach in the NFL. And when Andy Reid retires from the NFL as a head coach, there's no doubt that Andy Reid will be a Hall of Famer. Now, whenever Andy Reid retires from the NFL, and it's not going to be anytime soon, because he is the head coach of the Chiefs, and Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback of the Chiefs. And as long as Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes stay together with the Chiefs, Andy Reid's not going to retire anytime soon. And believe me, this is only the beginning of the Chiefs. And this is only the first Super Bowl that the Chiefs will win. The Chiefs are going to make it into the playoffs many times. They're going to reach the Super Bowl many times. And they're going to win a few Super Bowl championships in the next few years and going into the future. Especially if Patrick Mahomes stays with the Chiefs and he's the Chiefs quarterback for his whole career. And with Andy Reid winning Super Bowl 54, the only thing that was missing from Andy Reid's Hall of Fame resume was a Super Bowl title. And now that Andy Reid has won a Super Bowl title, he can add it to his Hall of Fame resume, and that Super Bowl championship is the icing on the cake for Andy Reid's resume as a head coach in the NFL. There's no doubt that Andy Reid will be a Hall of Famer once he retires from the NFL as a head coach, and that will not be anytime soon. With the way the Chiefs played this season with Patrick Mahomes, by winning the AFC West, by making it into the playoffs, reaching the Super Bowl, and winning the Super Bowl, this is only the beginning of the Chiefs. And the Chiefs are going to do this many times going into the future. And this is only the beginning, and this is only the first Super Bowl championship that the Chiefs will win. Because the Chiefs, they will win a few more Super Bowl championships as long as Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes stay together with the Chiefs. Now taking a look at the Chiefs roster, here are the players on offense and defense that you wanted to keep an eye on in Super Bowl 54. On offense, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins, and Damian Williams. On defense, Terrell Suggs, Frank Clark, Tyrann Mathieu, and Chris Jones. Now taking a look at the Chiefs in Super Bowl 54. There's a reason why the Chiefs won Super Bowl 54. And it was because of their offense, which was led by Patrick Mahomes. Now if we take a look at the Chiefs offense, Patrick Mahomes didn't have his best Super Bowl performance, and he also didn't have his best playoff game or his best career game in Super Bowl 54. With the way that Patrick Mahomes played for most of Super Bowl 54, you would have thought that Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs would have not won Super Bowl 54. But with the way that Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs had to come back throughout the playoffs, in the divisional round, in the championship round, and now in Super Bowl 54, Patrick Mahomes is one of the reasons as to why the Chiefs were able to advance in the playoffs, reach Super Bowl 54, and win Super Bowl 54. Even though Patrick Mahomes did not have his best game and his best Super Bowl performance, Patrick Mahomes is the reason why the Chiefs won Super Bowl 54. Patrick Mahomes showed up in the second half and late in the fourth quarter, and that's all that matters. That's the reason why the Chiefs won Super Bowl 54, was because Patrick Mahomes showed up in the fourth quarter. He played his best football, and he showed why he is one of the best quarterbacks right now in the NFL. So that's the reason why the Chiefs won Super Bowl 54. Now Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and Sammy Watkins, they didn't have their best game, and they didn't have the best Super Bowl performance. Tyreek Hill didn't really put up the numbers that he usually does. Especially Travis Kelce at that tight end position. He didn't have the type of numbers that he usually puts up in any game that he plays, no matter if it's the regular season, the playoffs, and now in Super Bowl 54. But Travis Kelce is still one of the best tight ends in the NFL. Sammy Watkins definitely played better throughout the playoffs compared to the way he played throughout the regular season, but Sammy Watkins also played great in Super Bowl 54, and the Chiefs needed Sammy Watkins to show up in the playoffs, but especially in Super Bowl 54. Now, Patrick Mahomes won Super Bowl MVP, but the other player that could have been Super Bowl MVP was Damian Williams. With LaShawn McCoy being out in Super Bowl 54, Damian Williams had to step up at that running back position, and he definitely did. And Damian Williams showed why he was a great running back in Super Bowl 54. And Damian Williams has been showing to the Chiefs why he is a good running back, after the Chiefs have been having to look for someone to replace Kareem Hunt. They brought in LaShawn McCoy and Damian Williams, and so far Damian Williams has not been disappointing the Chiefs, but especially in Super Bowl 54. And Damian Williams is one of the reasons as to why the Chiefs won Super Bowl 54. What the type of numbers that he put up throughout Super Bowl 54, that's why the Chiefs won Super Bowl 54. On defense, the Chiefs had a hard time stopping the 49ers from scoring points for most of the game. But in the fourth quarter, the Chiefs' defense showed up, and they started playing really great against Jimmy Garoppolo in that 49ers offense. That Chiefs defense was able to stop Jimmy Garoppolo from having one of his best performances in the Super Bowl. And except for Deebo Samuel, the Chiefs defense was able to stop George Kittle and Emmanuel Sanders from having a big game. And the Chiefs defense was able to stop Jimmy Garoppolo from having those long passes, and also from having a big game, throwing many passes, a lot of touchdowns, having those long passes, scoring a lot of points, a lot of touchdowns. That Chiefs defense was able to hold on to Jimmy Garoppolo in that passing game, and they were able to stop Jimmy Garoppolo's receivers. But the Chiefs defense was also able to contain Raheem Mostert from having a big running game. And the Chiefs defense wanted to stop the 49ers from having a big run game, especially with the type of performance that Raheem Mostert had in the NFC Championship game. The Chiefs defense, they weren't going to allow Raheem Mostert to have that type of performance in Super Bowl 54. And believe me, if Raheem Mostert would have had that type of performance that he had in the NFC Championship game, and he would have brought that to Super Bowl 54, the 49ers would have won Super Bowl 54, especially if Raheem Mostert got over 100 yards and he had a few touchdowns and he had a similar performance like he did in the NFC Championship game. The 49ers would have won Super Bowl 54 because of Raheem Mostert in that running game. But that Chiefs defense was able to stop Raheem Mostert in that running game, just like they stopped Derrick Henry in that running game in the AFC Championship game. The Chiefs were not going to let Derrick Henry have a big running game in the AFC Championship game, and they continued that on to Super Bowl 54, and they stopped Raheem Mostert from having a big running game in Super Bowl 54. So with the way the Chiefs played on offense and defense, and with the way Patrick Mahomes led the Chiefs on offense, especially late in the fourth quarter against the 49ers to win Super Bowl 54, that's why the Chiefs won Super Bowl 54. And the Chiefs are Super Bowl 54 champions. So Super Bowl 54 was definitely a great Super Bowl between the 49ers and the Chiefs. Super Bowl 54 definitely didn't disappoint the fans, the NFL, and the rest of the sports world, but especially the 49ers and the Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs are Super Bowl 54 champions, and I want to say congrats to the Chiefs on having a great 2019 season and for winning Super Bowl 54. I also want to say congrats to the 49ers on having a great 2019 season and reaching Super Bowl 54, even though the 49ers didn't win Super Bowl 54. But I do want to say congrats to the Chiefs and to the 49ers on having a great 2019 season. And we're going to have to wait and see what two teams make it to Super Bowl 55 and what team wins Super Bowl 55. This is the end of the NFL season, and this is the end of the NFL's 100th season. It's now the off season. This off season, I am looking forward to free agency and the NFL draft in Las Vegas. Next season, I am looking forward to the Raiders playing in Las Vegas and having a new stadium, and the Rams and Chargers having their new stadium that they are going to share in Los Angeles. The teams to keep an eye on in the 2020 season includes the Ravens, Browns, Bills, Patriots, Texans, Titans, Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Packers, Vikings, Cowboys, Saints, 49ers, and Seahawks. The 2019 season for the NFL was a great season, and we're going to have to wait and see what 2020 brings, and we're going to have to wait and see how the 2020 NFL season is, but I'm definitely looking forward to the 2020 NFL season. Right now, I'm going to take a commercial break. When I come back, I will talk about the NBA and NHL. Welcome back to All Sports with Gerardo. Moving on now to NBA basketball. Players around the NBA are honoring Kobe Bryant's legacy by changing their jersey number to a different number if they were currently wearing number 8 or 24. After Kobe Bryant's death, the NBA postponed the Lakers-Clippers game at the Staples Center on Tuesday, January 28. The Lakers had their first game after Kobe Bryant's death on Friday, January 31st at the Staples Center against the Trail Blazers. The Lakers-Trail Blazers game was the first game the Lakers played after Kobe Bryant's death. Before the Lakers-Trail Blazers game, the Lakers organization honored Kobe Bryant, his daughter, and the 7 other victims that passed away on January 26. The Lakers organization and the current players honored Kobe Bryant's legacy with the Lakers and in the NBA. The city of Los Angeles is honoring Kobe Bryant by having a memorial that has been built outside of the Staples Center and outside of the Lakers training facility since Kobe Bryant's death. In the next few weeks, there will be a scheduled memorial in Los Angeles for everyone to honor Kobe Bryant. We will have to wait and see the day, time, and location of the memorial for Kobe Bryant. Players and personnel around the NBA and other leagues, and every athlete and personnel in the sports world is honoring Kobe Bryant's life and his career with the Lakers in the NBA. Everyone around the world is honoring Kobe Bryant's legacy, whether they knew or they didn't know Kobe Bryant. Everyone is also giving their condolences to the Bryant family, the Lakers, and the NBA. So right now, To step aside from the All Sports with Gerardo show, I'm going to give you some quick life advice and some tips that you need to know. No matter who you know, who you don't know, no matter if it's your friends, your family, no matter if you live with anyone or you don't live with anyone, if you live with anyone, whether it's friends, family, or roommates, all I want you to know, especially if you live with people, or even if you don't live with people, but there's people that you love and care about, no matter if they're family or friends, all I want you to know is to love and care for them. No matter what's going on. No matter if you have a good relationship with them or you don't have a good relationship with them. Even if you're mad with them or you're not mad with them, try to get over those disagreements that you have with people that you know. Get over that stuff. Try to put that stuff to the side and forgive that individual or those individuals for whatever they have done to you. No matter if they're friends, family, colleagues, or people you don't know, or people that you know. Try to get rid of that tension that you have with someone and get rid of it. All I want you to know, no matter who it is, love and care for them. And if you live with people, before you leave your home, there is one thing I want you to know. Make sure that you always say goodbye to everyone that lives with you if they are home before you leave your home. All I want you to know is that could be the last time you see that individual or those individuals. With the way this world functions, that could be the last time you see someone. So no matter if you're at home, work, school, or wherever you are, whoever you are with, make sure you say goodbye to them, because you never know. It could be the last time you see that person. And if that person happened to die that day, the next day, that week, that month, that year, and you never had the chance to see that person again or talk to that person again, you're going to regret not saying goodbye to that person or being able to say the last thing you wanted to say to that person. And that's something you'll have to live with for the rest of your life. You don't want to have those regrets of, I wish I would have said goodbye to that person. I wish I would have been able to tell that person one last thing. Because believe me, you'll never have that opportunity again. And you don't want to have to live with that for the rest of your life. So if there's one thing to take away from this episode of All Sports with Gerardo, no matter where you are, before you leave, and if you're with people, make sure to say goodbye to those people. Because if we take a look at this Kobe Bryant situation, Vanessa Bryant and her daughters, they would have never thought that Kobe Bryant and Gianna were never going to come home ever again. And hopefully Vanessa Bryant and her daughters said goodbye to Kobe Bryant and Gianna. Because Kobe Bryant and Gianna will never come home ever again. Vanessa Bryant lost her husband. He's never coming home ever again. Vanessa Bryant lost her daughter Gianna, she's never coming home ever again. The daughters lost their sister Gianna, she's never coming home ever again. And the daughters lost their father, that's never coming home ever again. So it's sad to see that Kobe Bryant and the daughter Gianna are never coming home ever again. And I can only imagine how Vanessa Bryant and the daughters feel after Kobe Bryant and Gianna died in this helicopter crash. And they know that Kobe Bryant and Gianna are never coming home ever again, and that they lost two members of their family. I can only imagine how the Bryant family feels and what they're going through. So I definitely want to send my condolences to the Bryant family after losing Kobe Bryant and their daughter Gianna. The helicopter crash is an ongoing investigation, and we're going to have to wait and see in the next few weeks and in the next few months what is the official cause of the crash. More details will be released by investigators going into the future in the cause of the helicopter crash. Also, if we take a look at the death of Kobe Bryant, everyone's shocked that Kobe Bryant died, and he's just gone. Nobody can believe that Kobe Bryant is suddenly gone, and nobody could believe that Kobe Bryant died. Everyone was shocked when they found out that Kobe Bryant died. The Bryant family, the Lakers organization, the NBA, the sports world, the whole world, everybody was shocked that Kobe Bryant passed away. And it doesn't matter if you knew Kobe Bryant or you didn't know Kobe Bryant. Everyone was sad and shocked that Kobe Bryant passed away. Now everyone that knows Kobe Bryant, and even people that don't know Kobe Bryant, they're giving their condolences to the Bryant family and the loss of Kobe Bryant and the daughter Gianna. And everyone around the world is doing something special, and they're having a tribute to honor Kobe Bryant. People that knew Kobe Bryant personally are honoring Kobe Bryant's legacy and everything about Kobe Bryant with the type of personal relationship that they had with Kobe Bryant. And it doesn't matter if they knew Kobe Bryant or they didn't know Kobe Bryant. Everyone is honoring Kobe Bryant's life and legacy. Everyone that knew Kobe Bryant and the Bryant family and the Lakers organization, in the NBA and in the sports world, is honoring Kobe Bryant's life and legacy in a special way. And even the people that don't know Kobe Bryant or they're not a part of the NBA or the sports world, they're still doing something to honor Kobe Bryant's life and legacy. Even now, after a few weeks and many days after Kobe Bryant has passed away, everyone's just shocked, and nobody can believe that Kobe Bryant passed away and that Kobe Bryant's gone. So it's unfortunate that the world lost an icon, and the world definitely lost an icon and a legend for the Lakers, in the NBA, and in the sports world. But the world definitely lost an icon and a legend. So I want to give my condolences to the Bryant family on the loss of Kobe Bryant. And I also want to say Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. The Lakers, the NBA, the sports world, and the entire world will not forget Kobe Bryant. Now, in the next few years and going into the future, the world will not forget Kobe Bryant. And the world will continue to honor Kobe Bryant's life and legacy now and going into the future. Vince Carter moved into third in all-time games played. Dwight Howard moved into 14 in all-time blocks. Rajon Rondo moved into 16 in all-time assists. Damian Lillard is the first player in NBA history with 45 points and a 10 assist average over a 6-game span. Damian Lillard is the only player to record 35 plus points, 5 plus rebounds, 5 plus assists, and 5 plus three-pointers in 5 consecutive games. Damian Lillard has 361 points and 77 assists over his last 8 games. 79.7% of Zion Williamson's shots either go into the basket or are rebounded by Zion, according to ESPN stats and info. The Knicks parted ways with President Steve Mills. The Knicks hired Leon Rose to be their next president. So right now I'm going to update you with the NBA trade deadline moves and all the moves that happened all the way up to the NBA trade deadline. In a 4-team trade, the Rockets received Robert Covington, the Hawks received Clint Capella and Nene, the Nuggets received Gerald Green, Kentabe Stoop, and a Rockets first-round draft pick, and the Timberwolves received Malik Beasley, Juancho Hernan-Gomez, Evan Turner, and a Hawks first-round draft pick. In a 3-team trade, the Clippers received Marcus Morris and Isaiah Thomas, the Wizards received Jerome Robertson, and the Knicks received Mo Harkless and a 2020 first-round draft pick. The Grizzlies traded Andre Iguodala, Dre Crowder, and Solomon Hill to the Heat in exchange for Justice Winslow, Dion Waiters, and James Johnson. Andre Iguodala and the Heat have agreed to a 2-year contract extension. The Warriors traded D'Angelo Russell to the Timberwolves in exchange for Andrew Wiggins and a 2021 first and second round draft pick. The Pistons traded Andre Drummond to the Cavaliers in exchange for Brandon Knight, John Hinson, and a second round draft pick. The NBA trade deadline was on Thursday, February 6th. Nikola Jokic became the 10th player in NBA history with a 30-20-10. So right now I'm going to update you with the current schedule for the Nuggets. I'm going to tell you every team the Nuggets went up against this past week and the final scores of those games. And I'm also going to tell you who the Nuggets go up against in the next week. To start off, last week the Nuggets went up against the Jazz and the Nuggets beat the Jazz 106-100. The Nuggets went against the Bucks, and the Nuggets beat the Bucks 127-115. The Nuggets went against the Pistons, and the Nuggets lost a close game to the Pistons in overtime 128-123. The Nuggets went against the Trailblazers, and the Nuggets beat the Trailblazers 127-99. And the Nuggets went against the Jazz again up in Utah, and the Nuggets beat the Jazz in a close game 98-95. This week the Nuggets go up against the Suns, the Spurs, and the Lakers. So that's the current schedule for the Nuggets, for the teams they went up against this past week and the final scores of those games. And that's also who the Nuggets go up against in the next week. In the Week 16 NBA Power Rankings, the current top 10 NBA basketball teams are the Bucks, Lakers, Raptors, Clippers, Nuggets, Celtics, Heat, Jazz, Rockets, and Pacers. Moving on now to NHL hockey. So right now I'm going to update you with the current schedule for the Avalanche. I'm going to tell you every team the Avalanche went up against this past week and the final scores of those games. And I'm also going to tell you who the Avalanche go up against in the next week. To start off, last week the Avalanche went up against the Flyers, and the Avalanche lost to the Flyers 6-3. The Avalanche went against the Sabres, and the Avalanche beat the Sabres 6-1. This week, the Avalanche go up against the Senators, the Blue Jackets, the Wild, and the Senators again here at the Pepsi Center in Denver, Colorado. So that's the current schedule for the Avalanche, for the teams the Avalanche went up against this past week and the final scores of those games. And that's also who the Avalanche go up against in the next week. Moving on now to tennis. Novak Djokovic won his 8th Australian Open and his 17th Grand Slam title. Right now I'm going to take a commercial break. When I come back, I will talk about the end of the show. Welcome back to All Sports with Gerardo. Moving on now to the show. What to watch for this week in sports: college basketball, the Nuggets, NBA basketball, the Avalanche, NHL hockey. Moving on now, on the next show, I will talk about NFL football, Major League Baseball, NBA basketball, NHL hockey, college football, and college basketball. I hope y'all have a great weekend. Tune in to the next All Sports with Gerardo show next Tuesday from 3:30 to 5 p.m. Remember, All Sports with Gerardo is moving to Tuesdays, and it will still be at the same time from 3:30 to 5 p.m. every Tuesday, starting next Tuesday, and every Tuesday going forward. This is the last All Sports with Gerardo show on a Thursday, and All Sports with Gerardo is moving to Tuesdays, and All Sports with Gerardo will now be on Tuesdays, and it will be every Tuesday from 3:30 to 5 p.m. I want to say thank you to everybody that listens to All Sports through Met Radio here on mymetmedia.com. Subscribe or like my pages on social media at All Sports with Gerardo. Until next time, this is Gerardo.